Hi, everyone. I wanted to just give you some thoughts about the co-parenting boot camp that I am starting next week. I just thought it would be good to come on here and talk about where people are at when they're joining the boot camp. So basically, a lot of times people come to me and they're like, there's no impact I can have on my co parenting relationship because the other person is not being very cooperative. And so I'm at a loss. And what I think is that you can actually work on what's going on in your co parenting relationship, even if there's resistance from the other person, because you can work on you and you can work on your own boundaries of how you're going to show up in your parenting role with your child. And sometimes it feels like, okay, it's all dependent on whether the other person cooperates. And yes, it would be easier if the other person cooperates, but it's also really, really dependent on the amount of work and evolution you want to do in the relationship and where you see yourself falling into a dynamic of tension or actually battle with the other person. The other day, I was talking to somebody, and we were talking about um, the discomfort sometimes that they felt like their child had or children had with the other parent, and that they weren't voicing it. So they felt like they had to voice it. And I do often help parents try to figure out what is making the kids uncomfortable, but sometimes there's so much tension between the parents that the kids are very wary about getting involved with that tension. And so a lot of times I will instruct people at the beginning to just start setting the boundaries for themselves around how they want the parent engagement to be. So, for example, like maybe you're starting to establish your own private time with your kids. You don't have a lot of time with your kids. That's one of the losses that happens when you're parents and you have to separate. And also, there may be times that you do have to engage all as a family. One thing is not to say anything negative about the other parent, but the other is to allow yourself to have some boundaries around your privacy with your child because that's really important time and you don't want to be upset in that time by the other parent because that takes away the time. The focus of that time that you have with your kid is to be with them and to be not triggered by your relationship with the other parent. So set boundaries around that time. Make that a really private time and space that you get to bond with your child. You bonding with your child in the situation when you're living in two separate households is critical. Your child will be able to heal if they start feeling like there is a lot of respite in your relationship together and they can be comfortable and they're not always in the mix of the transition and going back and forth and different rules and different parenting styles, but the solace and the comfort that you'll be able to give them and the presence. But you got to get to that place where you can actually be present and not triggered by the other parent. So think about that. The co-parenting boot camp is really about you working on trying to heal yourself and continue quality parenting. And then we'll chip away at all the other dynamics that have been bugging you. But firstly, it's to give yourself time to be in this space with other people that are really trying to get back to their lives, recreate a new vision for their life, and parent in a way that they feel good about and bond with their kids. So if that's something that feels like it will help you, please get in touch with me. I think the boot camp experience is going to be an excellent one.